Um, but Danny, for you, let's hop over to Denver real quick. What do you think is next for Denver? I mean, you mentioned that there's a chance that they're primed to possibly go back to back. I think I'll say it this plain and simple. They need to make upgrades in order to stay contenders because I think the West is going to be one of those conference. I mean, if the West was strong this year, there's going to be, I think, going to be a little more separation than there was than this year. I think you're going to have you're going to see a little bit more similar to these. That's more so what I'm trying to get. I think you're going to have three teams that are going to be a lot more dominant this season, this upcoming season. The rest are going to kind of be nobodies. And in order for Denver to be part of one of those three teams, they're going to still have to make improvements. Thankfully, they won't. I don't think they'll have to make much. The only thing I can really see as a big concern is just trying to find a little more depth that by the time you get to the postseason, the bench is going to be able to help you a little more it'll help you out a little more than what you saw out of the three guys that consistently came off the bench for the Nuggets team. That's
Okay,
all I'll say. That's all I'll
clip
say.
this now. I'll say, before I throw, I think me saying Denver was gonna repeat was me kind of just overreacting a little bit. Cause hold on, that was me praising Jokic a little bit too much. Before I slandered Denver, I got to shout out my boy Jamal, who has coming off an ACL injury. I've been showing him love. You've been showing him love on this show. How we've been saying notes 0-time All-Star, but this dude always performs in the playoffs, averaging 20 points per game in the regular season, 26 per game throughout the postseason. In the finals, let me pull that up real quick. I don't have his final stats, sorry, but we saw him take over games, hit big shots late in games throughout these finals. Well deserved. I think it's safe to say easily, for my money, top 3 shooting guard in the league. I mean, this is dude the perfect number 2. He can facilitate. He can hit the 3 ball. He's just one of the guys that steps up in the playoffs. But unfortunately for Jamal, I clip this now, Katie. Nuggets are not coming back to the finals. I'm sorry. They're not doing it. They're not coming back to the finals. This is their peak. I think they're one and done. And let me tell you why. Unless they improve, because their bench is getting older. Jeff Green off the bench. They're probably going to lose Brown. I know he had one good game, but I don't know if he's going to be able to, take that step as going for 15 minutes off the bench to they're going to need him to play 25, 23 to 25 minutes per game. The Clippers were injured this year. We'll see if they get healthier. The Suns are going to get better. The Lakers are going to get better. Hopefully, they'll have more time to play with each other at least. The Kings are getting more experience. I'm scared for this Nuggets team. I know Jokic is the best player in the NBA, so I'm not going to completely doubt him out. But I think the West is going to get more healthier this year compared to this playoffs where Chris Paul got hurt for you guys and the Suns. KD got traded halfway through the season. Now they're gonna have a full off season to kind of retool. We'll see what teams do in the draft as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors make a move, trading either Clay, Jordan Poole, one of those guys. Dame is going to be on the move. He probably is not going to get traded in the West, but you never know. So you can clip this now, Kay. Denver's not coming back.
I agree. I don't think Denver's going to get
Okay.
there. And I think the biggest thing with Denver, and I mean, this is just the NBA in general, you don't see a lot of repeat champions. At least recently you have, and it's always been somebody new.
I guess this would be a good question. Is this Denver team going to be a dynasty?
Ooh. I think they have the potential to be a dynasty. Are they going to be a dynasty? I don't think so. I think this team has a lot of resemblance to a team like the Milwaukee Bucks that really could have a good core of players, but I think they're going to fall short in the playoffs more consistently. I mean, if this was a team that really shows that they could be a dynasty, I think you look at a team like Denver last year, who was the 6th seed and they got bounced by the Warriors in the first round. I think you'd see a little bit more of a fight there because those are a very similar team. I think you go back a year before that when they got bounced by the Suns in the second round. They put up a little bit more of a fight than getting swept in, again, the second round. So I think this is a very good team. I think this is a team that can continue to show play improvement. and continue to show a lot of very good things in the upcoming years. But I would not call this team a dynasty. I think they would have to make some significant changes. They'd first off have to find a way to keep a core of MPJ, Jamal Murray, and Jokic, and then you'd have to continue to build around that consistently to keep yourselves in the playoff contention, or not playoff contention, finals contention. And that's just something I don't think the Denver Nuggets are going to do. I think they're going to really soak this up, and I think they're going to honestly have a very similar roster to what we saw this year going into the next season. And I think that's going to be the difference maker in the way that they play the entire season next year and in the postseason. I don't see them, I mean, way too early. I don't see them getting past the second round next year.
Ooh, that's
I love.
I don't know about that, Kate.
I'll say I like the Denver. I like the Nuggets, but I just think they're going to be sitting on this a little bit too much, which makes sense. You just won an NBA Finals. Why make major changes when you don't have to? I mean, you're sitting on the mountaintop. But I do think it's next year is going to be a little bit more of a wake up call. Being able with them knowing that they won the NBA Finals this year, they're going to recognize that in order to say a successful franchise in the NBA, you're going to have to continue to make upgrades no matter what. And I think that's what you're going to see the Denver Nuggets do. Maybe not this upcoming season, but you're going to see it happen. And but I do think as long as you can keep that core of MPJ, Jamal Murray, and Jokic, the idea of a dynasty isn't necessarily something that can be ruled out.
I really, I'm not gonna call them a dynasty as well. I think that the West is gonna be too talented. But I really like your comparison of like the Bucks, where they're just gonna have a solid core, a good roster. We said this all year, the entire year, pretty much. We said this on the show. They've had the best roster in the league. Best starting five. The most well-rounded, well-built starting five in the NBA. So they'll always be, top 3 seed, next couple years from now, as long as they keep that core. But yeah, like you said, I don't think they're going to be a dynasty as well. Just because I think the West is just too talented. And I think it's going to get stronger.
Oh, now it's too talented. It wasn't too talented last week, but it's too talented now.
All right, yeah, it's gonna get too talented. Yeah,
okay, it's gonna get too talented. Okay,
I just went through why.
Yeah,
the Clippers are getting healthy. The Lakers are I just already said that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just giving you a hard time from last week. I agree. I think it's definitely going to be. I mean, I thought it was incredibly talented this year. I think it's going to get more talented as long as players can stay healthy, and as long
I still think the chip is a little overrated. Just a little bit.
I don't know about that. We'll see. I mean,
Miami Heat as an 8 seed. Come on, they got blessed.
Hey, you were hyping them up last week before they got gentleman sweep by the Nuggets. So
hey, I'm sorry, Strus averaged 0 points per game.
Hey, I mean, I'm sorry too. That's the difference maker between getting gentleman sweep and maybe 1-6.
Yeah, probably.
So, but who knows? But yeah, I agree.
Hey, Kate, my laptop's about to die, so let me run and get my charger real quick.
I was gonna say, honestly, I only got one more thing to take before I'm done. But okay. Or at least I just got one more point, and then I think I'm ready to wrap it up. But yeah, the one thing I'll say is that I agree. I think if the West stays healthy, the West is going to continue to be the best conference in the NBA. It's going to be a rubber match between so many different teams. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I do think the Nuggets need to take a step in the direction of trying to figure out what they can do to continue to build off their role players. But again, like I said, I think it's just so hard to say that the Nuggets are going to do that right now. They're going to have that championship hangover so hard because they know as long as they keep their core, they're going to stay possible contenders throughout their entire time with that core. So that's what I got. I just think next year is going to be a little bit of off year. After that, I think the Nuggets are going to continue to push themselves into a position where they're actually talked about in the NBA championship contention much more consistently.
All right, fair enough. I don't know if my boy Jamal is going to let them get bounced in the second round like that. We'll see.
Hey, I mean, I'm all I'm saying is that championship hangover, it hits. Oh yeah, exactly, it hits.